Chelsea FC. Chelsea Football Club, a professional football club based in Fulham, West London, England, has won numerous major honours, including the League Championship in 1955, the FA Cup in 1970, the Cup Winners' Cup in 1971, and the Club World Cup in 2022. The club is the first English club to win all three pre-1999 main European club competitions, the European treble, and is the only London club to have won both the Champions League and the Club World Cup. In terms of overall trophies won, Chelsea is the fifth most successful club in English football. The club has rivalries with neighbouring teams Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur, and a historic rivalry with Leeds United. As of 2024, Chelsea is the ninth most valuable football club in the world, worth $3.13 billion, and the ninth highest earning football club in the world. History. In 1905, Gus Mears acquired the Stamford Bridge Athletic Stadium in Fulham to turn it into a football ground. The club was founded on March 10, 1905 and was elected to the Football League shortly afterwards. Chelsea won promotion to the First Division in their second season and yo-yoed between the First and Second Divisions in its early years. They reached the 1915 FA Cup final and finished third in the First Division in 1920. Chelsea had a reputation for signing star players and attracted large crowds, with the highest average attendance in English football in 10 separate seasons. They were FA Cup semi-finalists in 1920 and 1932 and remained in the First Division throughout the 1930s. Modernisation and the First League Championship, 1952 to 1983, saw former Arsenal and England centre-forward Ted Drake as manager, leading to modernisation and the first major trophy success, the League Championship, in 1954 to 55. Chelsea faced financial challenges in the late 1970s through to the 80s, with an ambitious redevelopment of Stamford Bridge, selling star players, and being relegated. In 1982, Chelsea were acquired by Ken Bates from Mears' great-nephew Brian Mears, who bought a controlling stake in the club and floated Chelsea on the AM Stock Exchange in 1996. In 1983, John Neal put together an impressive new team for minimal outlay, winning the Second Division title in 1983-84 and establishing themselves in the top division with two top-six finishes. After a long-running legal battle, Bates reunited the stadium freehold with the club in 1992 by doing a deal with the banks of the property developers. In the mid-1990s, Chelsea fan and businessman Matthew Harding became a director and loaned the club £26 million to build the new North Stand and invest in new players. Chelsea's form in the new Premier League was unconvincing, but they did reach the 1994 FA Cup final. Ruud Gullit as player-manager in 1996 began an upturn in the team's fortunes, leading them to their first major honour since 1971, the FA Cup. Chelsea FC was sold to Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich in June 2003 for £60 million, resulting in a personal profit of £17 million. Abramovich took responsibility for the club's £80 million debt and quickly paid some of it. The club faced financial difficulties during this period, with Abramovich making record losses of £140 million in June 2005. During this time, Chelsea won multiple titles, including the fifth English team to win back-to-back league championships since the Second World War. However, the club did not turn a profit in the first 9 years of Abramovich's ownership, and made record losses of £140 million in June 2005. In 2009, Chelsea won another FA Cup, followed by a record profit of £1.4 million in 2012, followed by a loss in 2013, and then their highest ever profit of £18.4 million in 2018. In 2018, Chelsea announced a record after-tax profit of £62 million. In 2017, Chelsea won their sixth English title and the following season their eighth FA Cup. In 2018, Conte was sacked after a fifth-place finish and replaced with Maurizio Sarri, who led the club to their seventh FA Cup and first UEFA Champions League title. Sarri left the club to become manager of Juventus and was replaced by former Chelsea player Frank Lampard. In January 2021, Lampard guided Chelsea to fourth place in the Premier League and reached the FA Cup final. He was later dismissed in January 2021 and replaced with Thomas Tuchel. Under Tuchel, Chelsea reached the FA Cup final and won their second UEFA Champions League title. On April 18, 2021, Chelsea announced its withdrawal from the European Super League due to financial sanctions imposed on Russian oligarchs by Western governments. Abramovich wrote off the £1.5 billion the club owed him and put the club up for sale, pledging to donate net proceeds to the victims of the war in Ukraine. In 2022, Chelsea acquired the club through Blue Co., a new ownership group led by Todd Boehly, Clearlake Capital, Mark Walter, and Hans-Georg Weiss. The club's management struggled, with a record-low 38 goals across the entire season and finishing in the bottom half of the table for the first time since 1995-96. Mauricio Pochettino was announced as Lampard's replacement on July 1, 2023, but he agreed to leave the club at the end of the season. Enzo Maresca was announced as Pochettino's successor on June 3, 2024. Stadium. Chelsea's home ground, Stamford Bridge, has been a significant part of their history since its foundation in 1877. The stadium was originally used by the London Athletic Club for athletics meetings and was acquired by businessman Gus Mears and his brother Joseph in 1904 to stage football matches on the 12.5-acre site. The stadium was designed by football architect Archibald Leach and was built with an open bowl-like design and one grandstand with seating capacity of around 100,000. In the early 1970s, the club's owners announced plans for a state-of-the-art 50,000 all-seater stadium. However, the project faced problems, leading to the completion of only the East Stand, which brought the club close to bankruptcy. The freehold was sold to property developers, and the club faced threats of eviction from the stadium. In the mid-1990s, Chelsea's future at Stamford Bridge was secured and renovation work resumed. The stadium was redeveloped in the Bates era, adding additional features such as Millennium and Copthorne hotels, apartments, bars, restaurants, the Chelsea Megastore, and an interactive visitor attraction called Chelsea World of Sport. However, these facilities were less successful than hoped, and the debt taken on to finance them was a major burden on the club. Chelsea Pitch Owners now owns the Stamford Bridge freehold, pitch, turnstiles, and Chelsea's naming rights. As a condition for using the Chelsea FC name, the club must play its first team matches at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea's training ground is located in Cobham, Surrey, and the new facilities were completed in 2007. Stamford Bridge has hosted various sports events, including rugby union matches, baseball matches, boxing matches, dirt track racing, greyhound racing, and midget car racing. In 1980, it hosted the first international floodlit cricket match in the UK and was the home stadium of the London Monarchs American football team for the 1997 season. The club has consistently affirmed their desire to keep Chelsea at their current home, but have been linked with a move to nearby sites like the Earls Court Exhibition Centre, Battersea Power Station, and the Chelsea Barracks. In 2018, the new stadium project was put on hold due to the current unfavorable investment climate. Identity. Chelsea has a history of 4 main crests, all with minor variations. The first crest was the image of a Chelsea pensioner, an army veteran who resided at Royal Hospital Chelsea. Ted Drake became manager in 1952 and began to modernize the club, replacing the pensioner crest with a stopgap badge. In 1953, the club crest was changed to an upright blue lion looking backwards and holding a staff, based on elements in the coat of arms of the Metropolitan Borough of Chelsea. This was the first Chelsea crest to appear on the shirts, in the early 1960s. In 1975, a heraldic badge was granted by the College of Arms to the English Football League for use by Chelsea. The badge featured a more naturalistic non-heraldic lion, in white and not blue, standing over the CFC initials. In 1986, with Ken Bates owner, the crest was changed again as part of another attempt to modernize and because the old rampant lion badge could not be trademarked. The new crest was officially adopted for the start of the 2005 to 2006 season, marking a return to the older design, used from 1953 to 1986, featuring a blue heraldic lion holding a staff. Chelsea has always worn blue shirts, although they originally used the paler Eton blue, which was taken from the racing colors of then club president, Earl Cadogan. The light blue shirts were replaced by a royal blue version in around 1912. In the 1960s, Chelsea manager Tommy Docherty changed the kit again, switching to blue shorts and white socks. Since then, Chelsea have always worn white socks with their home kit except for a short spell from 1985 to 1992 when blue socks were reintroduced. Songs and fan chants have been a part of Chelsea's identity, with the song Blue is the colour reaching number 5 in the UK singles chart. Other popular chants include Carefree, 10 Men Went to Mow, We All Follow the Chelsea, Zigga Zagga, and Celery. Support. Chelsea, a highly regarded football club, has the 6th highest average attendance in English football history and attracts over 40,000 fans to Stamford Bridge. The club's fan base comes from various parts of Greater London, including working-class areas, wealthier areas, and home counties. Between 2007 and 2012, Chelsea was ranked 4th worldwide in annual replica kit sales. As of 2023, Chelsea has 118.9 million followers on social media, the 4th highest among football clubs. During the 1970s and 1980s, Chelsea supporters were associated with football hooliganism, with the club's football firm being nationally notorious for violence. The Greater London Council rejected the proposal to erect an electric fence to deter hooligan incidents. Since the 1990s, crowd trouble at matches has decreased due to stricter policing, CCTV, and all-seater stadia. In 2007, the club launched the Back to the Shed campaign to improve the atmosphere at home matches. Chelsea has long-standing rivalries with North London clubs Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur, a strong rivalry with Leeds United, and a growing rivalry with Liverpool. A 2004 survey found that Chelsea fans consider their main rivals to be Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, and Manchester United. A 2012 survey found that many clubs' main rivals have changed since 2003, with Tottenham considered their main rivals. Records and statistics. Chelsea, a football club, has a rich history and a long history of achievements. Ex-captain Ron Harris played in 795 competitive games for the club between 1961 and 1980, making him the club's most capped international player. The club has also made over 500 appearances, with 5 other players making more than 500 appearances. Frank Lampard is Chelsea's all-time top goalscorer, having scored 211 goals in 648 games, 2001 to 2014. 8 other players have scored over 100 goals for Chelsea, including George Hillsden, George Mills, Roy Bentley, Jimmy Greaves, Peter Osgood, Kerry Dixon, Didier Drogba, and Eden Hazard. Chelsea has a record for the most winning scoreline in a competitive match, with 13-0 against Jeunesse Hautecharage in 1971. The club's biggest top-flight win was an 8-0 victory against Wigan Athletic in 2010, which was matched in 2012 against Aston Villa. The club's 21-0 aggregate victory over Jeunesse Hautecharage in the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1971 is a record in European competition. From 2004 to 2008, Chelsea went 86 consecutive league matches at home without defeat, beating the previous record of 63 matches unbeaten set by Liverpool between 1978 and 1980. They hold the English record for the fewest goals conceded during a league season, the highest number of clean sheets overall in a Premier League season, and the most consecutive clean sheets from the start of a league season. Chelsea has also made significant contributions to the sport, becoming the first club to play with shirt numbers, travel by aeroplane to domestic away matches, field an entirely foreign starting lineup, win the FA Cup at the new Wembley Stadium, be ranked number 1 under UEFA's 5-year coefficient system, and score at least 100 goals in a single season. Chelsea has broken the record for the highest transfer fee paid by a British club 3 times, with their £30.8 million purchase of Andriy Shevchenko in 2006 and £50 million purchase of Fernando Torres in 2011. Ownership and finances. Chelsea Football Club, founded by Gus Mears in 1905, has been owned by various descendants since its inception. In 1982, Ken Bates bought the club from Mears' great-nephew Brian Mears for £1. The club was later floated on the AM Stock Exchange in March 1996. In the mid-1990s, Matthew Harding became a director and loaned the club £26 million to build the new North Stand and invest in new players. In 2003, Roman Abramovich purchased just over 50% of Chelsea Village plc's share capital for £30 million and completed a £140 million takeover. At the time of the Abramovich takeover, the club had debts of around £100 million, including a 10-year £75 million Eurobond taken out in 1997 by the Bates regime to buy the freehold of Stamford Bridge and finance the redevelopment of the stadium. The outstanding £36 million on the Eurobond was not fully repaid until 2008. Since then, the club had no external debt. Chelsea FC plc, whose ultimate parent company was Fordsham Limited, was funded by Abramovich via interest-free soft loans channeled through his holding company Fordsham Limited. The loans stood at £709 million in December 2009, when they were all converted to equity by Abramovich, leaving the club themselves debt-free. Chelsea has been described as a global brand, with a 2012 report ranked 5th among football brands and valued at $398 million. Forbes magazine ranked Chelsea the 7th most valuable football club in the world in 2016, and as of May 2022, it was ranked the 8th most valuable club in the world according to Forbes and 8th according to Deloitte. During the Russo-Ukrainian War, Abramovich handed over stewardship and care of Chelsea FC to the Chelsea Charitable Foundation. On March 2, 2022, the Premier League disqualified Abramovich as a director of Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea's kit has been manufactured by Nike since July 2017, having previously been sponsored by Adidas. The club has also had sponsorships from various other companies, such as Cadbury, EA Sports, FICO, Hilton Worldwide, 3 Company, Levy Restaurants, MSC Cruises, Oman Air, Paramatch, Rexona, Singa, the St. James, Travago and Bingex. Popular culture. In 1930, Chelsea was featured in the earliest football film, The Great Game, featuring Jack Cock as the star and featuring scenes at Stamford Bridge. The film included guest appearances by then Chelsea players Andrew Wilson, George Mills, and Sam Millington. Chelsea Headhunters, a football firm associated with the club, has featured in films about football hooliganism, such as 2004's The Football Factory. Chelsea also appeared in the Hindi film Jum Barabar Jum and in an episode of Montenegrin comedy series Nijesmomi od Jus in 2011. The club had a long-running association with music halls, which provided material for comedians like George Robey. In 1933, comedian Norman Long released a comic song titled On the Day That Chelsea Went and Won the Cup, which described bizarre and improbable occurrences on the hypothetical day when Chelsea finally won a trophy. Alfred Hitchcock's 1935 film The 39 Steps claimed that Chelsea last won the cup in 63 BC. Honors. Upon winning the 2012-13 UEFA Europa League, Chelsea became the fourth club in history to have won the European treble of European Cup/UEFA Champions League, UEFA Cup/UEFA Europa League, and European Cup Winners' Cup/UEFA Cup Winners' Cup after Juventus, Ajax and Bayern Munich. Chelsea is the first English club to have won all three major UEFA trophies. Chelsea Women. Chelsea Football Club Women, formerly known as Chelsea Ladies, is a women's football team affiliated with the men's team since 2004. They play their home games at Kings Meadow, formerly the home ground of AFC Wimbledon. The club was promoted to the Premier Division in 2005 and won the Surrey County Cup 9 times between 2003 and 2013. In 2010, Chelsea Ladies were one of the 8 founder members of the FA Women's Super League. In 2015, they won the FA Women's Cup and FA WSL title, completing a league and cup double. In 2018, they won a second league and FA Cup double, and in 2020, they repeated their double success by winning the third league title and the FA Women's League Cup. In the 2020-21 season, Chelsea won a domestic treble and reached the final of the UEFA Women's Champions League. That's a wrap on our deep dive into Chelsea FC. From their rich history to the iconic players that have shaped the club, Chelsea's legacy in football is undeniable. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Sports Spectrum for more profiles, match analysis, and everything you need to stay updated on your favorite teams and players. Let us know in the comments which Chelsea moment stands out to you the most. Until next time, keep the blue flag flying high.